Hello, welcome to our expert workshop for the Ciprotech 5 7SX85, our modular universal protection device. My name is Gustavo Poleo, and I'm glad to be your moderator today during this session. I am located in Nuremberg, belongs to the sales team of the product sales and in the headquarters team. But today I'll be guiding you through this session to present you the brand new 7SX85, which is a unique device that covers all protection, control, and automation applications in the substation. Before we will start, I would like to check whether everything is working fine. For that, we have prepared a quick poll to see if you can hear and see us. Please know that if you are in the full screen mode, you will not be able to see the poll. So if this is the case, you might want to press escape. If you experience any problem with the view of the webinar, we recommend you to refresh your window pressing F5, or if you're using a Mac, with Command R. In order to be sure that the webinar platform works well, we recommend you as well that you use a Chrome browser, that you use a wired LAN connection, and switch off your VPN. So looking at the poll results, I see that our setup is working fine. During the session, you will be, of course, able to raise your questions. But since you're not able to unmute yourself, we kindly ask you to type them into the question box that you can see on the top right-hand side of the screen. We will try to answer them, or as much of them, after the presentation. And at the end, if we get more questions at time, we will send a reply via email to all the participants. If you ask yourself whether you can see this webinar later, the answer is yes. We will record this webinar and make available the recording and the presentation for all registered participants. But now I would like to introduce our experts that will present this product today. Klaus Wagner and Michael Sapp, which are our expert application engineers for the Ciprotech platform, and they are going to present us today the 7SX85 and its exciting features. We have also a special guest, Mr. Stefan Verben, which is the product lifecycle manager of the product, who will be supporting also as answering all the questions that you might have. But Klaus, since we are so excited already to know about this product, so I would like to give you the chance to start with the presentation and start delighting us with all the information that you will share with us. So the stage is yours.
Thanks for the introduction, Gustavo. For those who are not familiar with our Ciprotech family, we bring a short introduction to this protection device generation. Siemens has a long history since its foundation in 1847. Already from 1910 up to today, Siemens has experience in protection relays. With this background, we introduced the Ciprotech 5 family in 2012. Ciprotech 5, above all other features, stands for flexibility. This shows in the modular hardware, where starting from a base device, additional so-called expansion modules or the plug-in modules for communication can be added by the user. Both can be added or exchanged at any time of the device's lifecycle. The functional flexibility comes with a library in Dixie 5, which offers a large selection of functions that can be added to the device configuration. These functions are not offered as function packages as we do with Ciprotech 4 devices. In the Ciprotech 5 world, the device functions have a certain value expressed in so-called function points. The Ciprotech 5 devices are ordered with a certain function point budget, which can then be used to build up a configuration with the required functions. This system makes it easy to exchange functions with the same function point value because not the function itself counts, but its function point value. With this principle, it is also very easy to expand a device configuration. Function points can be bought at the time a function upgrade is needed and do not need to be considered and paid already in advance when the device is ordered. With all this flexibility, we created devices tailored for a certain purpose and also kept the naming similar to our Ciprotech 4 devices. The result is our Ciprotech 5 device family that covers almost all required applications. With a universal device, we now make the next step for flexibility. The range of type-related devices is now completed by Universal Device 7SX85, which can incorporate all functions of respective type-related devices. As a consequence, the limits between type-related devices disappear, where an overcurrent relay 7SJ8 cannot be changed into a distance relay 7SA8, and a distance relay cannot be transformed into a line differential relay 7SD8. The universal device 7SX85 does not have such limits and can be easily modified by the user himself, who needs just to add the necessary functions to the existing device configuration. In the type-related Ciprotech 5 relays, we have so-called main protection functions, like, for example, a distance protection function, already together with additional functions, like, for example, teleprotection or an emergency overcurrent protection in the basic package. To this, additional functions like auto reclosure can be added in a flexible function area. As a difference, the universal device has only some general functions like measuring values, the logic chart editor CFC, or control commands in the base functionality. The functions which are main functions in the type-related devices, such as distance or a transformer differential protection, can be flexibly added along with all other functions available in the library. And now, Michael, it's your turn.
Thank you, Klaus. And also a warm welcome from my side to all attendees of this webinar introducing our Universal 7SX85 protection device. Klaus introduced the flexible design of our Ciprotech 5 family using modular hardware, the functional flexibility via the function library in Dixie 5, and the concept of function points for customizing the Ciprotech 5 relay according to the applications. The type-related devices 7SJ overcurrent relay, 7UT transformer protection relay, and 7SA distance protection relay are using this flexibility already, but not yet to the possible maximum amount. In the base package of the device types, a predefined amount of protection functions is always included and contributing therefore also to the price of these type-related devices. A distance protection relay has a higher price as a simple overcurrent relay. The most important acceptance criterion for a universal device is to define a price level which is corresponding to the market price level. A simple approach is to design the universal relay with a maximum amount of possibly needed protection functions. That ensures that independent from the use case, the functionality of the universal relay will always fit. The big disadvantage of this approach can easily be seen, because the universal relay will have the same price for high-end applications like distance or transformer protection, but also for simple applications like overcurrent protection. As a consequence of such an approach, having always all possible functions on board, the price of the universal relay would be determined by the most expensive device type. This does not make sense and would not find the necessary acceptance of the market. Siemens neglected such a concept and used a different approach. Our approach is to bring the flexible and modular design of our Ciprotech 5 family to the next level. Separation is the key. In the concept and context of the universal device, separation means I make a separate definition of the hardware for the universal device and have separate a selection of the needed function point class. In a first step, the hardware covering the needs of the applications regarding number of inputs and outputs, this hardware is selected. But in this hardware, no protection functions are included and therefore are not considered in the price. All protection functions are priced according to an accepted market price level. The price for each function is represented with the function points. In the next step, the function points for the needed protection functions of the application are selected from the function list. The result will be a complete order number of your universal relay with the needed hardware and a function point amount covering the desired protection functions. Important to mention is that the function points are not bound to the protection functions, but like for all our Ciprotech 5 relays can be later used flexible within the device. With this approach, we can state price follows the functionality. This makes sense and is a prerequisite for the acceptance of the market because the device is scaled in price and in functionality. Not the most expensive relay determines the price of the universal relay, but the application. It is possible to define the universal relay covering the same application as a type-related device and important for the same or for a comparable price. I showed you in the last slide how to define the universal relay 7SX85 equivalent to a type-related Ciprotech 5 device, meaning already prepared and equipped with the fitted hardware and the required function point class. For projects where you know the needed functions already at the date you place the order, maybe because you use always the same typicals, that is a fitting approach. However, that is not always the case. Sometimes you need to be flexible, even until start of commissioning. And the protection concept is modified during the project not only once, but even more often. Or you must be able to react fast to deliver a customized relay to your customer due to an emergency situation, but do not have all device types on stock. For such use cases, the flexibility can be used to a maximum level. You order the universal relay without any function points included, only the fitted hardware, the base module, expansion and plug-in modules. Klaus will soon give you more details about this. And then marry the function points with the relay later, after everything is finally clarified. How can that be organized? Easy, because you can order a budget of function points, for example, for a project. With the help of the function point manager, you can work with your function point budget and create exactly at the time you are sure that the concept is frozen the needed function point class and load them into the device. The function point manager is a new tool to create or upgrade function points for a device on demand within minutes. All that is needed is to register and create your function point manager account. When that is done, you can order your function point budget, needed, for example, for your project. As soon as the ordered function points are credited to your account, you can create within seconds the needed function point class for the devices according to the needs of your application and generate and download the license files. The license files can be transferred from Dixie to your device. The costs for the function points will not be charged when the function point budget is credited to your account, but only after you generate the license file, and only the costs for the number of used function points will be invoiced. The universal device 7SX85 is bringing together with the function point manager the flexibility of our Ciprotech 5 family to a maximum. Before Klaus will introduce the hardware aspects and the functional scope of the 7SX85 universal device, we would like to start another poll. In case you are using the full screen modus, please press the escape button to be able to see our poll question at the right side of your monitor.
For the 7SX85 base module, we provide three different types of hardware. Beside a module with two sets of current inputs with integrated I/O 203, we have two types with one set of current and one set of voltage transformers. The difference between the last two is the number of binary inputs and binary outputs. Where the base module with the I/O 202 has more binary inputs, the other one containing an I/O 208 has more binary outputs. Of course, these base modules can be expanded with all the modules which are also available for the type-related Ciprotech 5 devices. Finally, the base modules can be equipped with the same plug-in modules as for the type-related Ciprotech 5 devices. These base devices can be used universally. All available functions can be configured with each of the basic variants. Missing analog inputs, such as current and voltage transformers, can be added in further expansion modules. So each base module can be used for transformer diff protection, and each base module can be also used for line protection. That means you can standardize on only one base module for all your protection applications. And this universal device can take over all functions of up to 12 individual type-related devices. Which functionality is covered so far by the universal device 7SX85? The 7SX85 covers the hardware and functionality of our modular type-related Ciprotech 5 devices. This means the non-expandable devices such as 7SJ82 or 7UT82 cannot be replaced. Basically, all protection and control devices with three-pole tripping functionality can be covered by a 7SX85. Excluded at the moment are the busbar protection 7SS85, the fault recorder 7KE85, and railway protection devices. The configuration of the various device types found within a substation is very easy. A basic configuration, which is identical for all applications, is created once for the first bay type. This contains, for example, bay-related interlockings and other user-specific CFC logics, user-defined signals, the configuration of fault recording, maybe generally use protection functions, the front display configurations, the creation of switching elements, protocol mappings, and maybe more. After that, this base configuration is just copied and finalized by adding specific functions and other features for the next typical. So instead of creating the basic configuration repeatedly for every device type or application, it is created only once and then available as a basis for every typical. And this saves effort and time. And now Michael tells us about the advantages regarding spare part handling and changing requirements.
Despite the high quality device quality of our Ciprotech 5 devices, with a mean time between failure of more than 350 years, calculated from returned goods, we want to talk about spare parts. The normal use case we know from our customers and from tender specification is that for each device type, at least one complete device must be available as spare part in order to be able to react fast in emergency situations. That is costly and cannot even guarantee that always the fitted device is still on stock, especially when the stock is used not only for one project but for several projects. It's obvious that the number of necessary spare parts to cover the complete range of protection devices goes down when only one device type is used. But it is not only this point. Who has not experienced the situation that a device was broken and the corresponding spare part exactly for this type was not available? Then it is good to have a universal device that can replace all type of devices. To keep spare parts cost low and use them more flexible is one important point, but even more important is to secure your investment costs. The universal functionality helps even when the requirements of the primary system change. For example, a feeder is protected by a distance protection, and after some time of operation, the line is equipped with communication, so that it would be desirable to replace the distance protection by a line differential protection. No problem with the 7SX85. Drag and drop the line differential functionality from the library into the configuration. Add the communications module to the hardware and the new functionality is available. No replacement of the device, no new wiring, only a change in the configuration. Both functions, distance protection and line differential protections, are using the same amount of function points. Therefore, there will be no additional costs. Alternatively, you can simply add the line differential and keep the distance protection as a backup. Or a feeder is equipped with an overcurrent protection and the network topology changes so that suddenly a distance protection is required. No problem with 7SX85. Another case we often find in industrial plants. Today, the feeder is protected with an overcurrent protection. Tomorrow, the feeder must be connected to a new motor. With the 7SX85, you simply add the dedicated motor protection functions to the existing configuration. The device hardware itself does not need to be replaced. Or we have a scenario that one spare feeder is already fully equipped with including the protection device. And this device is used for replacement of a defective device. Also here, a universal device guarantees a smooth replacement because all required device functions can be loaded into this device. You now may ask, will the universal device 7SX85 be the only solution for all application and use cases in the future? In case you already use our type-related Ciprotech 5 devices in your projects, you can continue using the same type-related devices as in the past. Our Ciprotech 5 type-related devices will be available, of course, in the future, and the universal device is only a new member of the Ciprotech 5 family and not a replacement of existing types. Or you can profit directly from all the benefits when using the universal device 7SX85. A changeover is possible at any time without problems. You even could mix in a project type-related devices and the universal device. The process for replacing defective devices by the universal device 7SX85 is easy, as I will show you in the next slide. All settings, connections, logics, and use protection functions, meaning the entire configuration of a device that needs to be replaced, can be exported into a so-called TEAX file. TEAX stands for Totally Integrated Energy Automation Exchange format. That is done via our engineering tool Dixie5, what is also used for the next steps I will show. By importing the TX file into the 7SX85 universal device, the conversion is almost finished. In a final step, the configuration must be downloaded into the physical 7SX85 device. A convenient, fast, and easy way to convert an existing configuration, right? Before we close now our presentation in this webinar and come to our question and answer session, back to Klaus for the next topics.
So finally, what benefits do we see the new 7SX85 can offer for you? First, a consequential use of the 7SX85 reduces dramatically the number of device variants. This facilitates the daily work in many situations, having to deal only with one device type. Then, having installed only one device type obviously reduces the number of spare parts to a minimum. Before, we showed you that you can save a lot of engineering work by configuring a common part for all different typical applications only once, and then reuse this configuration as a basis for all feeder typicals. Michael showed you that using 7SX85, you're perfectly prepared for future changes of your primary setup. Whether you need to switch from a distance protection to a line differential protection, or from an overcurrent to a distance protection, with 7SX85, the solution is simple and saves time and money. Whatever are the manifold challenges, Ciprotech 5 is prepared to react in a smart way, providing the possibility for a very universal function mix. This gives you peace of mind. What can we offer? Our Ciprotech website is our central access point to get further information about all our relays, including application notes that help you get the most out of your relays. Additionally, we have a well-trained local team in most of the countries, which are happy to answer your questions and to assist you in any other possible way. They are supported by technical experts in the headquarters who help them find the optimum solution for your problem. We also offer webinars like this one to inform you about our solutions and give you also guidance how to work with our products. You find them on our website or some of them also on YouTube. If you want to dig deeper, we have also plenty of YouTube tutorials available that help you, for example, when you have questions regarding your Dixie configuration. Very important is our Siemens Power Academy that offer a large variety of trainings, also online, around Ciprotech 5 and much more. And finally, for devices already in service, our worldwide customer support 24/7 help tackle problems with the devices. Siemens has many people on board giving you right documents and tools. Our experts help you finding your tailor-made solution. This brings us to the end of our presentation of our new Ciprotech 5 universal device 7SX85. Thank you for listening, and now I will hand over to Gustavo for our question and answer session.
Thank you, Klaus. Let's take a look at some of the questions that we received from the audience. I'll read each question aloud and hopefully we can answer them properly. One of the question is, can all the expansion and plugin modules be used together with a S7SX85? Maybe Stefan, can you give us?
Yes. Thanks, Gustavo. Well, the universal device 7SX85 is a normal member of our modular series, and therefore all extension and plug-in modules can be used as for all the other modular devices.
Thank you, Stefan. One question from PU. I understand the flexibility, but the idea is to eliminate other versions. Is your propose use a standard as a model and buy then the function points?
I can try to answer on that, although I'm not sure if I understood the question totally. So Yes, I think the flexibility and the benefits could be are hopefully well understood. However, it is definitely not our idea to eliminate or substitute our existing type devices. We know that our business is sometimes very conservative. For example, bringing bay control together with protection is an ongoing story for now 20 years, and there are still customers who do not like to use bay control functionality in a protection device. So our business is sometimes a very conservative and slow business. So in this way, we understand the universal device as an alternative with what we believe strong benefits, but as an alternative. So nobody will be forced or driven into using a universal device. If you are convinced as a region or as a customer of the benefits, you should use it. And if you are happy with your standard typed devices with the main protection principles, you can stick to them. However, if you're using the universal device approach, the separation of functionality and device, this brings you the full benefit. So if someone is convinced of that approach, we also recommend to buy the devices and the function point budget for maybe a whole station or for maybe a fiscal year separately, because this brings you the full benefit. I hope the question is halfway or was halfway answered.
I'm pretty sure that that was in this direction was asked the question. Yeah. I have a question from JL. Could we use dual power supply for this relay?
Answer is very simple. Yes.
Good. So what about the 6MD85? C7X85 could also substitute a control bay relay?
Yes. There is a number of modular device types that are covered, or their functionality is covered by the universal device to 100%. And the 6MD belongs to this. The one question I saw is generator protection covered? Yes, the 7UM85 functionality is also covered to 100%. The transformer protection functionality of 7UT85, 86, and 87 is covered to 100%. Motor protection, overcurrent protection, and line protection, as long as it is free pole tripping, is also covered.
Yeah, maybe we can add one more thing. What is not covered is the busbar protection at the moment, the 7SS85, and some special devices like railway protection. But I think this rounds up the list of functionalities and devices we can cover with the 7SX85. Stefan already told us.
So that answer also one of the questions that was, and the 7UM85 is also added to the 7SX85, yes. So that means it's also included there. May I transform an existing 7SL into a 7SX?
No, this is not possible, because either you have this universal device right from the beginning, or you have one type related devices. What you can do is to take over the complete functionality, as Michael explained in one of the slides, take over the complete functionality of this device and bring it into another hardware, a 7SX85, but we cannot just switch over and transform any type related to device in a universal device. This is not possible.
Well, one a little bit commercial point, but I think can be answered without any problem, is the function point pricing politics, so to say, the same compared with other devices of Ciprotech 5?
Yes, it's a little bit different, yeah? Like Klaus and me explained. In a type-related device, there's a package of basic functions for distance protection, that is a 7SA and so on, already inside of the hardware price. And this is a universal device, it's different. There are no protection functions are in. So the number of function points for one protection functions, if you add it, for example, if in a 7SA 86, additional function, what is not in the base package, is required to be added. The number of functions point may be differ to the number of function points you need for the 7SX85. But we evaluated, let's say, a lot of running projects and the functions what are used there in the applications, and try to create an equivalent price for a total application, independent if it's covered from a type-related device or if it's covered from the universal device, so that you come more or less to the same price when using the same amount of functions. So in some cases, you may a little bit cheaper when using a universal device, and some small amount of use cases, it may be also a little bit higher. But we try to make the pricing in a way that for the same amount of protection functions, what are in reality used in real projects, that the prices are more or less identical, independent if using a type-related device or the universal device.
Okay, so so that means if the original, if someone ordered already or is using a 7SX85 for motor protection, and then they want to convert into another application like current differential protection, then do they need to add additional function points to the device or purchase a new one?
If they have a 7SX85, what is used as motor protection, and they want to add another set of functions, then they can upgrade it with function points. Or if they want to convert it for another purpose, where functions what has been used up to now no longer are needed, then in the configuration you delete these functions no longer needed because you want to use it for another application. Then within the device, the function points will be released and they can be used for other functions. If you add additionally to existing functions and not delete the existing functions, then you need to have additional function points for new functions you want to add. But if you can delete functions no longer needed, then you release within the device these function points and you can use them for other functions.
Okay, thank you, Michael. I see here, how is the acceptance of the product at the moment for our customers, I guess?
Stefan and me, I guess. Stefan, you first.
Yeah, I can say a few words to this. We have already introduced this universal device into the German market. And so far, the acceptance is very well. So we have a lot of very enthusiastic customers who already switched, a few completely, for new projects to the universal device. Of course, there are also customers who definitely want to stick with their type devices, but again, we have a significant number of customers here in Germany who already completely switched to the universal device.
Good. So what is the vision regarding 7S85 development, I guess, related to the 7SX85? Stefan?
It's how to comment. So as already explained, there are still some type devices like the one-pole operating devices, like, for example, point-on-wave switching, which is also a one-pole operating function, like railway protection and also busbar protection. That is not yet covered by the universal devices approach. This approach is also new to us, of course. And maybe in this regard, I can also state we have not yet released this device to the whole world or the whole world market. We started with we will do a stepwise approach. So we have a selected number of countries where we made this release, and we have to gather experience, also we from headquarter and our sales, how the pricing is going, how the function points handling is going. Of course, we expect positive reactions and positive feedback, and if our expectations are met and we all gain, our customers and we gain, then we will introduce the universal device into further markets, and we will also extend the coverage, the functional coverage. So then we could decide to also cover one pole operation and also busbar protection. Technically, this is possible. It's not technically limited. And maybe in this regard also the one question, if 6MU, so merging unit functionality, is covered. Yes, this is covered. The universal device could be used as merging unit for process bus and as client. So we will see if in the future, maybe in the next calendar year, we will extend also the functionality of our universal device if we have positive feedback.
Thank you, Stefan. So there was a single pole operation is considered in the roadmap. You mentioned already that we are planning to include it. Is it planned to have a hardware version with no CTs and no VTs?
It's a known requirement, although it's more related not to the portfolio where I'm in. I'm more in the medium voltage active. It could be there is no defined roadmap for this, but if the market demand is increasing in this direction, also there is no technical limit to not do this. So it depends on the market demand and the customer value.
Okay. Another question, does the universal device require an update in firmware and Dixie configuration software?
Well, yes and no. The first firmware that supports the universal device is our platform version 8.30. So there are already firmware platform versions that are supporting the universal device. However, the universal device is a normal member of our Ciprotech 5 platform, and as we are extending our functionality with new firmware versions, which are delivering new functionalities, it might be required or might not be required for a user to maybe also upgrade the universal device firmware. If, for example, any security features are added, for example, then it might be also required to update the firmware, the device firmware, if the user want to get the benefits of such a functional upgrade. But if you're familiar with Ciprotech 5, it's handled like every other Ciprotech 5 device regarding firmware upgrades.
Okay. Is the 7SX85 also included in the digital twin?
Yes.
Good. How about fault recorder? Is the 7KE85 covered?
This is the only exception. The 7KE has a specific hardware. It has its own hardware with extended memory, significantly extended memory capabilities. And therefore the 7KE is not covered and will also not be covered because there we have a technical limitation due to the high memory availability in the 7KE.
Okay. Does the 7SX85 has limitation on number of controllable devices? They mean on number of instances of logical nodes?
It's the normal number as any other Ciprotech 5 modular device. I think it's around 100 switching objects, maybe even more, at least 100 that can be instantiated.
100 is confirmed, 50 circuit breakers and 50 disconnectors.
Yeah.
Okay. I think one of the question was also, I was trying to configure a line differential protection device on the Ciprotech 5 configurator, but as shortcode, I got a P1J shortcode, which refers to overcurrent relay. So can you say something about it?
Yes, I can say that this J is no longer a defined, let's say, character to distinguish or to identify an overcurrent device. So you cannot, from the shortcode, you cannot derive the device type anymore. So the universal device also comes with the J, and this is simply a matter of fact. It does not mean that the universal device has any, let's say, link to the 7SJ device. It's just a character and simply a definition to use this character for overcurrent and universal devices.
Yeah, another question is regarding if the low power sensors instrument transformer will be included in this platform in the future?
Well, there is already for the modular devices, there is already a low power instrument transformer solution with our IO 240. However, this solution fits to our Siemens Energy high voltage switchgear solutions with partly proprietary sensors. But this solution is available again for as long as the switchgear, the high voltage switchgear is Siemens Energy. On the roadmap are also further LPIT solutions. which are no longer proprietary, but there we will start with our first solution for non-modular devices in the next year.
Okay. Well, I think we have covered most of the questions. There are some of the questions that are repeated, so we will collect them anyway at the end and reply them to the participants. So thanks to the audience for the very nice participation, for the interesting questions. And even if you notice that you left one question open from your side, then please free to contact us, to the experts. There are the contacts there, or myself, and we will either include it in our answers, or via our regional companies then can help you with the answer. So as a final wrap up, we would like to get your feedback about what is your opinion of this webinar, if you find it that was useful or interesting for you. So you can see as well the poll on the top right side. Again, press escape if you're in the full screen mode. Yeah, and we don't have more to say that thanks for your time, for the interest in watching this information that we wanted to share with you, and hopefully we will see each other in the next short time in another session of our interesting products. Stay safe, take care, and goodbye. Thank you.